Hi traders, this is the first of a new feature of price alert analysis. Each week I'm going to show you a trade. This is one of my trades, but I plan to primarily show you trades taken by others who are learning from me so you can see what they're able to do in a short period of time. This trade's set up on Monday morning. In my training program, I teach even the newest trader who knows nothing how to do this step by step. As you know, I publish live analysis as the market's moving each morning. We'll take a look at that in a moment. But there are 5 elements that affect your probability of winning any trade. If you want to learn about that, I host a free webinar regularly. You should be able to find that or contact me if you can't find it. But know that in this trade, all 5 elements are accounted for, making this an extremely high probability trade. Now, when I arrived, price was right here. If you see my mouse, price was right here, and you'll see in a moment. I'm going to show you that. Let's call it at the white line. So it hadn't made this move up here yet, and you'll notice I've got a couple of moving averages. I don't need them, but for new people, they're very handy. If this one that moves faster is above the slower one, you can only buy. It's an uptrend, or if it's down below, then you can only sell, and it's really simple. But it's very accurate because of the other elements that we look at. Now I notice immediately that this has moved off the bottom. There's been a trend change, and it's moving up strong into this barrier. And just look at that; it just goes right under it. So this barrier is obvious, and that's the ones I like. I like very obvious barriers. Don't want to figure it out. Use any tricks. Use any computer gimmicks. Anybody can see that. And again, when I showed up, there was just a little wick right here. I'll show you that in a minute. Right about this white line. Now, just looking at price, I could see that this was pretty bullish, and I went on to take a look at the global markets, financial markets, because one of the things I do look for is investor sentiment. Because if you're not looking at that, you could suffer some serious drawdowns and wonder what's happening to you. So as you can see, at about 7:50 a.m. on Monday, I post price alert, and you got an email notification. Then there's a link in that, and when you click on the link, it brings you to this unique thread where I publish this initial analysis, and then I continue as the things develop in the market. I continue to post updates. 9:33 a.m., 9:60 a.m., 8:52, 10:01. I put these timestamps on it because I want you to be able to go back, maybe pull up a 1-minute chart and see how accurate it was. 10:24. 10:39, 10:55, and so on. So sometimes I comment more than others. Sometimes there's if nothing's changed, if my analysis is exactly the same, I might sit there for 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 minutes. If nothing changes, I might eventually say, okay, well, nothing's changed yet. But usually something's happening. Now I want you to notice that I write for the pound and euro USD. Price is hitting a resistance. Now I didn't have lines on it, but you can see here and here. These are whenever you've got an area where price is having trouble getting above, that's called resistance. If it's having trouble get under it, like right here, that's support. So it's just a barrier. There's a barrier, and I'm saying hey, price is running into a barrier right now. That's what's stopping it. But you see, I also say here, but looking bullish right now. And now look at this. Investor sentiment is in agreement. I'm saying that what I'm seeing in terms of investors in the global market is consistent with these charts moving in an upward direction, and I really like to see that. Now, I also make another comment. I say the British pound US dollar trend is young, and I say I'd like to see price close above 160.84 on the 30-minute chart. That's pretty specific stuff there. I was saying I wanted to close above 160.84. Let's take a look at that. So here's our pound chart. Where's 160.84? Right there, that white line. See that? I'm looking for a 30-minute candle to close. Now remember, I'm making this analysis back here. Now I said the trend is young. What do I mean by that? Well, I look at how far price moves when trends change over to the upside and the downside. It's not really as complicated as it may seem if you were watching a person. Oh, how about a swinging back and forth? It swings forward, how much? Swings backward, how much? Swings forward, how much? And so what I'm saying when I say in my price analysis that this trend is young, I'm saying that, it usually moves a lot farther and when it does change over. So the key at that particular point, remember, it was at this time here, none of this existed. I'm saying the key is for it to get up here and close above this level, and I think we're going to, and it moves really fast into this level, which is also pretty bullish. That's what I was looking for at that point. And I basically say I'll comment here as the session continues. Let's see. Okay, so 30 seconds after I posted, everyone started buying. So what actually happened in real time is the moment I made this post, I mean, like really it was 10 seconds later, it went right on up here. I mean, it went up here very fast. And I could show you on a 1 minute candle, but I'm going to stay with the 30 minute. So I was telling you that this trend is young, and I guess one way of saying it is if it tends to move up 95 points on a trend change, or 80 or whatever, then I look for kind of key levels for it to move to, and I have some things that I teach you on that too. I guess one way to look at it is you can think of these lines, this one, and this one is. Think of it like baseball: first base, second base, third base. So if prices move here to first base, and it usually makes it to first base, now I want to see it make it to second base in a really strong way. And if it makes it to second base, then it's pretty likely going to go here to third base, which is the blue line. I didn't make that one white. Now, without saying so, I now have all the information I need. I know where price is likely to go. And that becomes the top blue line at 1.6118. And the dashed line is actually a pip below that level. That's my actual target in my trading platform, only because dealers can vary in pricing, and I wouldn't want to miss my target by 1 pip, right? Now, the next thing I do is I look to place my stop loss just below the solid barrier. And here's that solid barrier right here. Now, price was making a strong move up at that time, so my stop loss is below the starting point of that wave. Now, what do I mean by that? First of all, we have this barrier, right? Now, here's the wave. Think of it like an ocean wave. Ooh, moves up, all this energy. All right? And my stop is actually below the start of that wave and below the barrier. So it's really in a great spot. Now, just as there's a probability of price direction, there's also a probability of whether your stop will be reached or not based upon some things I've talked about, and there's a probability of your target being reached or not reached, and I talked a little bit about why I like that target. So my strategy incorporates all of this plus the investor sentiment in the marketplace, and you can learn more about investor sentiment by just following me on Price Alert if you're curious about that. So now my profit target is in place at that top blue line. My stop loss is in place below the good barrier. All I need to make great money is to get the same money out of the trade that I'm risking. And if I just kind of use the rectangle here to show, here's how much I'm risking from the red line to the green line. And if I duplicate that and just kind of stack it on top right here, you can see that I'm well within, 1-to-1. We call that 1-to-1. And all I really need to make great money is to get the same amount of money out of the trade that I'm risking. So as soon as I put all this information together, I just push buy at the green line. Why? Because it doesn't matter where I enter as long as I'm making as much as I'm risking. So I can go in pretty much anywhere as long as that relationship's good. Now, what happened? Well, I went into the trade, of course, and boys, great morning, lots of accurate analysis, and it went boom, 2 pips away from my target. Would I have rather it gone up there? Yeah, but it didn't. It came down all the way down here. And so, I went and worked on other things, and I came back later in the afternoon, and it was here, and eventually I went to sleep, and I woke up this morning, and it hit my target while I was sleeping. I had that set in the trading platform to automatically exit the trade. Real simple. You just punch in exit 16117 is what it was. And so that was nice. So that was my trade Monday that closed out just before the European Open this morning. Essentially what I teach you is how to use this software. I teach you the most repetitive and most reliable pattern for trading. I teach all the language. And this gives you the high probability direction that you need. Then I teach you the 5 elements that affect your probability of winning and how to get those relationships right. After we get that defined, I work with you to write up a great trading plan, and once that's done, you're ready to do some real trading. You trade a series of 10, then you and I get together and evaluate how well you did following your plan, which is really your instructions. And we make adjustments and you trade 10 more. And we repeat that process until you're able to see the correct trade, avoid mistakes, and actually follow your instructions. And really, after you have defined a good high probability setup, this is exactly like flying an airplane. So that's it for this week. You can email me with any questions right here, Vance at forexartofwar.com, or you can Skype me. My username is forexartofwar. So bye for now, and always remember, this is not at all about what the market's doing. This is about what you do.